Evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Well, Hashem, you?
Well, Hashem. I forgot to reply to your text. So it's on my wife's name for some reason. There's Zoom.
Wow. You look a very dark background. Where are you?
It's probably just the window behind.
I can see a bit better now. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, well, Hashem, good. How you doing?
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Surviving all this?
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Might be over soon.
Might be over, yeah. Tomorrow's the 7th, they're going to have to decide. Have they talked anything, announced anything yet?
He said Sunday's announcing it, but I can't imagine he's going to do much. With the rate death so high.
How many died today, do you know?
Yesterday was still 700.
Yeah. A couple of days ago, that one day was like quite a low number. I was thinking, oh wow.
Yeah, every Sunday it's like that because there's no registrations.
Oh.
Every Sunday it's low.
Every Sunday it's low. Do you know we're the highest in Europe now? I think
because half the country's not had it yet. They've all been inside. Now they'll catch it. They'll all go out.
No, but we're the highest in Europe in terms of how many people have died.
What, beat Italy?
Yeah.
Well.
Because I don't know if beating Italy is the right expression to use. We've got
the Jewish community got off very lightly.
Oh yeah. What session wanted to know from it? Are you Chaim? You okay?
Baruch Hashem, you?
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Very good. Oh. Oh, wow. Does anybody remember when are you allowed to wear hobnailed sandal?
When it's 7 or 5?
That's 1 hectare. We've got about another 10 hectare.
Oh, I mean all the staples and all those.
That's right. Staples is okay. Very good. Any others?
Spear?
Well, it is. Spear, the shape of a spear, the shape of a tack. If it's covered the whole shoe. If you sew a shoe into the sandal, so we've got quite a few. Okay. Wait, is everybody okay?
Yeah,
Any good news to say? Oh, Yossi, very nice pictures today. Nicer pictures. Helps remember more. We're up to Daf Samach Aleph Amud Aleph. And we're up to about 10 lines from the bottom. And the Mishnah says that a person is not allowed to carry an amulet, a kimir. I'm going to stick to the word kimir because it's simpler. The word kimir means amulet. Nowadays, we don't see it so much. I don't know. But in the times of Chazal, it was a very, 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 very big thing. If you look in the Misos, as I mentioned, it's got pages and pages about Orachas Kimir. Not allowed to go out with a Kimir and amulet unless it's been proven to work. And we're going to learn now a whole daf all about Kimirs, all about amulets. It says we're up to 10 lines from the bottom of Samachala from Udal. If it's not from a mumcha, if it's not being verified. There are 2 ways to verify an amulet. One way of verifying an amulet is by verifying the one who wrote it. And one of them is by verifying the amulet itself. We're going to discuss at greater length later, but we already need to know a bit now. Let's say you've got a Talmud Chacham. and he writes an amulet to 10 different people, each one, a different amulet. And each time, the person gets better. Oh, who had the COVID-19? Who added that as a picture? That's very cute, very nice. So you got one person, and he does an amulet for lots of different people, and they all get better. What do you see when you see such a thing? If they all get better, what do you see? That this person knows how to write amulets. Because if not, how did they all get better? If you were to take each specific Khmer and ask the question, are any one of them established? The answer is no. Because every single one of them was only used once. So you don't know if that amulet, if that Khmer is verified. Alternatively, if you've got one amulet, which was written, and it heals loads of people, so then you can say that the Khmer itself is verified that it is indeed a good one. But it is not verifiable at this present stage, as if the one who wrote it, is he good at writing them? Could be that he knows how to write one. But if you were to take another one that he's written, maybe it's a total waste of time. This is Cheshbon Gemara, so it's good to get this clear. We're saying like this, you're allowed to carry a Khmer, you're allowed to carry an amulet as long as it's been verified. And we're explaining there are two ways to verify something. Imagine a doctor. He heals 10 different people. So you see, he's a good doctor. But each specific medication, you don't know, unless the medication has healed a few people. Let's say one doctor provides one medication, and that provides healing for a few different people. That just proves that that medication works. It proves nothing about the doctor. So now the Gemara goes into this at greater length. So the Mishnah says, you don't need that both the gav, that is the writer, should be proven, or and the amulet should be proven. As long as the person's proven, even if the amulet's not proven, that's also good enough. And as if you know that this person has healed many people, even if this particular Khmer, you don't know if it's healed anybody, it's good enough. Says the Gemara, Diktani, when it's not from somebody she'enoi min hamumcha, from someone who's a mumcha. In grammar, if I say an amulet which comes from someone who's verified, I'm referring to the one who wrote the amulet. If I say, if the Khmer is not mumcha, I'm talking about the Khmer. Since the Mishnah says min hamumcha, we see that the ikka is where the amulet came from and not regarding the amulet itself. And we'll discuss this at greater length in a moment. So far we've learned there are two ways to verify. Either the Khmer itself, alternatively the writer of the Khmer. And our Papa says you just need that the writer should be verified, you don't need the Khmer itself.
Sorry, what's the worry? They might take it off, or what is the worry?
Later we'll discuss the problem, take it off. We're not worried about taking it off. We're not worried about taking it off. Only when a Khmer is verified that he heals people, then that Khmer is like a clothing because it's protection for the person. It's no different from wearing a coat to ward off the cold or shoes for a person to find it easy to walk. So a Khmer makes it better. But when a person's got a Khmer which is not mumcha, which is not verified, then what happens is it's useless. It's like somebody carrying a useless piece of material on Shabbos where he's over on carrying. So if it's verified, it's part of his clothes. Not verified, it's not part of his clothes. Is that clear?
So would that be like the red thread that people get from a kibbutz? Would that be the same issue?
Very good. Yes, that was a good example. I did not think of it. Could you walk on Shabbos with a red thread? There it could be slightly better because it's also decorative. But let's say it's not decorative. Let's say you have something like that. A bottle of wine from a big Talmid Chacham. Are you allowed to carry a bottle of wine on Shabbos? If it's from a big Talmid Chacham, he tells you carry this bottle of wine, you'll be safe. So the answer is that it depends. If it's verified, yes. Not verified, not. We're now up to Tonu Rabbanon 6 lines from the bottom on Samach Aleph and Mud Aleph. We did start about 4 lines previously, a few moments ago. What is a verifiable kimir? Which is permitted, as Chaim pointed out. The only reason it's permitted is because now it's part of a person's clothes. Just like he wears a coat because a person's cold, a person wears this kimir because he's wearing it, because to protect himself. Kol shavipo v'shino v'shilish. If he heals 3 people, that means if he heals 2 people, that's not good enough. If he heals 3 people, that's good enough. So if you've got an amulet that's already healed 3 people, you're allowed to walk around it on Shabbos. Sometimes you have an amulet which is from writing, and sometimes it's an amulet which is made out of a bunch of herbs. Whether the amulet is to save somebody from an illness which is dangerous or from an illness which is not dangerous, let's say it's just a common cold, you're still allowed to wear the kimir. Why are you allowed to wear the kimir? You're not in any danger. The answer is because it's your clothes. It's part of there's a good English word for it. I think it's called apparel or something. Apparel or something. Something which a person wears. Even if a person is not dangerously ill, if he wears this because he believes, let's say, like you say, a thread from Kevarach, if he believes that this makes him well, so it's his clothes. So we said whether he's not well, whether it's dangerous or not. Loisha nichba would not necessarily to wear somebody who's already not well. They should not become not well in the future. Meaning, sometimes you get a kimir if a person's already not well. Sometimes you get a kimir to stop oneself from getting not well. In either case, it is permitted. You're allowed to take it on and take it off. Now, it's very interesting. Why in the world are you allowed to take it to Rishus? Nobody talks about it on this page, but the first thesis in this page asks the kasha. And he says a very interesting piece of logic, which I do not have the koach to go into at the moment. And he says like this: certain things you take off and you immediately go put back on. He gives an example, a coat. If you walk in the street with a coat, you might take it off for a moment to adjust it, and then you put it back on. Certain things you take off and you do not put it back on immediately. For example, jewelry. You take it off, you show it to your friends, and then you walk around with it. He says, regarding this Gemara, he brings this Gemara, that even if a person would take the kimir off, he wouldn't take another step before putting it back on. So we're not chayshish for carrying. Ubelvad, says the Baisa, shaloyik shurenu, you mustn't tie it to the top of Samach Aleph from a base, b'shir b'tabas. You're not allowed to tie the amulet to your ring or to a bracelet. That means, min ha'teva, you're even allowed to wear your amulet on your ring or on your bracelet. Why? Because it's normal clothes. The midrabanon, people seeing it, they won't know that you're wearing it because you're scared of getting not well. They'll think you're wearing it because of jewelry. And jewelry and ornaments are forbidden. So therefore, you're not allowed to if it is tied to your ring or to your bracelet. So far, this brisa established us some of the halachas of kimirs. That in order for it to be established, how many times does it have to heal? Does anybody remember? 3. And you're allowed to, whether a person's chas v'shalom, a chodesh eish b'sakana, a chodesh ein b'sakana is permitted. And you're allowed to, whether it's herbs or writing. And you're allowed to, even to preventative medicine is also permitted. That's what the brisa tells us. Now the Rebbe gives another brisa which seems to slightly contradict Tanya. That he healed 3 different people. In this brisa, it specifies that in order for a kamir to be considered verified, it has to heal 3 different people. If it heals the same person 3 times, that's not verified. Says the Gemara, the previous brisa said for a kamir to be verified, it only has to heal 3 times. It says nothing about whether it has to be 3 different people. And therefore it sounds very much like that even if it heals the same person 3 times, that's also okay. And this brisa says, no, it has to heal 3 different people. It says, to establish that a person is a good writer of kamirs, he has to heal 3 separate people. And if he only heals 1 person, even if he heals him 3 times, that's nothing. Because you could say to yourself, this person knows how to heal that particular person, but he doesn't know how to heal anybody else. But for a Kamir to be a Mumcha, then it doesn't matter if it's 3 separate people or 1 person, it works equally. So it depends what you're trying to establish. And it makes a very big nafkimina. If we're just trying to establish that, again, the halacha is you're allowed to carry on Shabbos any Kamir, any Amulet which has been verified. There are 2 ways of it being verified. Let's say there's a local Rav, and he's writing Kamirs, and loads of people are getting better. So that person is verified. And if he gives you a Kamir, which he has never ever written before, and never was in existence before, and now you want to carry it on Shabbos, what would you say? Mutter or asa? Mutter. Because this person has become a verified person because he has written loads of Kamirs. Now let's say it's not somebody who's written loads of Kamirs. There's one Kamir floating around the town, which loads of people have used it. And everybody seems to get better from this particular Kamir. And now there's another Kamir, let's say written by the same person. Can you use it? The answer is no. Why? Because the other Kamir has not been established. That means the Kamir number 1, which everybody used, healed a lot of people. Very good. So Kamir number 1 is okay. And if you could get a replica of Kamir number 1, you'd be allowed to carry it on Shabbos. But if I ask you, are you allowed to carry Kamir number 2? Of course not, because that's not been established. Oh, you'll say to me, but the one who wrote Kamir number 1 also wrote Kamir number 2. Yes. But he wrote only 1 Kamir, and that 1 Kamir healed people, but he didn't write more than 1. So for all you know, his entire success was only for that 1 particular Kamir and no more. So whenever you've got a Kamir, an amulet, and you want to know, am I allowed to carry it on Shabbos? There's one of 2 ways for it to be established. Either if you know that the writer has healed lots of people, that even if she's never written this Kamir before, that's okay. Alternatively, if he has written only 1 Kamir, but it's healed a lot of people, then you're allowed to, if it's a replica of that original Kamir, and that's it. The more now goes into it in more detail regarding amulets. Omar Papa, Shitali. Talas Kamir, if a person wrote 3 separate Kamirs, 3 separate amulets, Letlos Gav, and he wrote it to 3 different people, right? Let's call Yaakov Avinu writes 3 different Kamirs and gives it to Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. Telosa Tlosa Zimni. And each one of these people gets better 3 times. Reuven, Shimon, and Levi all got better 3 times for a total of 9 people getting better. Then Ismechi Gava Ismechi Kamir. Then each one of these amulets is established because it's healed 3 times. And the writer is certainly established because he has written 3 separate Kamirs which have healed 3 separate people. So that is fine. Telosa Kamir. If a person wrote 3 amulets, Telosa Gavi, yes, Yaakov wrote for Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. Telosa Gavi Chad Zimna. But each amulet only healed 1 person once. Then Gav Ismechi, Kamir lo Ismechi. The person's established, but the amulet is not. And if therefore somebody else writes the identical Kamir, you can't rely on it. Sorry, because you can't rely on it because that Kamir has not been established. You have to first find if the person is established, but the Kamir is not. Now, Chad Kamir, if there's 1 amulet, the Telosa Gavi for 3 separate people, Kamir Ismechi Gava lo Ismechi. The Kamir has been established, but not the person. Hoya Papa Telosa Kamir Lechad Gava Mai. 3 amulets written all for 1 person. What's the thing? Kamir Badai lo Ismechi. The Kamir certainly didn't work. That means, let's say you've got a Talmid Chacham called Yaakov Avinu, and he's got a patient called Reuven. Reuven comes to him on Sunday, I've got a cold. He gives him an amulet, makes it better. On Monday, he comes in, the same person, Reuven, comes to the same person, Yaakov. Today, I've got a sore throat, gives an amulet, gets better. On Tuesday, Reuven comes back to him and he says, today, I've got a sore fingernail, gives him an amulet, it gets better. So he healed him 3 times with 3 separate amulets. So what would you say? The shayla is like this. Each one of these amulets is not being proven because each one of these amulets only worked once. But is Yaakov, who now wrote 3 Kamirs, is he established or not? He healed him 3 times. See, he knows his job. He knows how to get to Reuven and help Reuven. But if Shimon wants to come along, who says he can help? Teiku, it's a teiku. So let's get through very, very briefly, and I'm not going back to this. I have to admit, the big time Chacham told me today that he, when you learn this Gemara, struggles with it because I'm only giving you one shit in the Rishonim, and there's many shittas eventually you missed it out. Because there's many shittas in the Rishonim how to get all the parameters. I'm giving the basic pshat according to Rashi, the way the Tosfos Rosh understands Rashi. And the way he explains it very, very simply, that Rashi according to Tosfos Rosh. But there's more shittas. You see, Tosfos got shittas, and the base Tosfos, as I said, goes on and on for pages about this. Basically, for something to be established, it has to have worked 3 times. And Rashi actually gives us a very nice mashal. It's good to keep in mind. If an ox gores a cow, a sheep, and a goat, then he's become a shuram word for a donkey as well. Oh, how do you know he gores donkeys? Till now, he only gored a cow, a sheep, and a goat. The answer is that since he gored 3 separate kinds of animals, it's very likely that this ox is not somebody that is mild-tempered, is a bad-tempered and wild ox, and therefore a donkey also. So if one person can heal 3 different people, he's the kind of person that can heal a 4th and a 5th. And if he gives me an amulet, I'm okay, I can carry it on Shabbos. But if you only write 1, and this 1 heals me 3 times, that's definitely no good. Because if he heals me the same 3 times for the same illness, that definitely doesn't prove anything. Because you only see that he's able to produce 1 kind of medication, who says it will help for other people, and who sells a different kind of medication, a different kind of amulet would help me. So if he only writes 1, even if it heals me 3 times from the same thing, that's no good. But if he heals me from 3 separate illnesses, that's the Gemara's Shaila. That's discussing the person. Now what about the amulet itself? The amulet itself, if it's been used 3 times, then that's enough to establish it. And a replica of that particular one is okay. Oh, wow, this is a dramatic picture. So you see in the picture, one person's, I don't know who made this picture, it's a sweet picture. One person's lazy, one person's bored, one person's got COVID-19. So he wrote for 3 different people. Oh, they're not the same. Yeah, if you look, they're not the same picture. And all 3 got better. So if he now comes with another one for somebody else who's struggling with something else, that's a sore throat, then that is also good enough. And the halacha is that, what's the din? You're allowed to carry it on Shabbos. But let's say he only healed COVID-19 3 times, and then he gives me something for boredom, and I want to carry it on Shabbos, then that would be forbidden. Okay, we're basically finished with the halachas of kemiyas, of establishing. Now we're going to go with more halachas of kemiyas themselves. Iboilu, kemiyah, yesh ben mishum kedusha, or dilmo ein ben mishum kedusha. Do they have any kedusha? Kemiyas would often have psukim inside. And the Gemara wants to know, do these psukim have kedusha or not? It says, what difference does it make? If it's to save it from a fire, if there's a fire burning in the house, or you're allowed to take the kemiyas out of the house, Toshama, bracha is parchment with the bracha on. Even if they've got many inyonim of the Torah, you're not allowed to take it out of fire on Shabbos. We're going to learn this much later. That when there's a fire, sometimes Chazal were very, very, very machmir. The reason being that if we start allowing people to save some items, they'll come to save more items and perhaps even put the fire out. So in certain ways, Chazal were very, very machmir when there's a fire. In certain ways, they'll make it so there's a fire. It's quite complicated halachas of a fire. But either way, it says clearly that a kemiyah is let burnt. So if you're asking me a shaila, does a kemiyah have kedusha? And the holy nafkemina is regarding getting it burnt, well, that clearly is not the good shaila because it's Mefurish Mishnah. Elo linim geniza. Your shaila is regarding geniza. Toshima. If you have psukim or kemiyahs written on the handle of a keli on the legs of a bed, you're good, cut it off, and you put it into shemus, so you see clearly that it does have the halachas of shemus. Again, the Gemara asks the shaila, does a kemiyah have kedusha? It says the Gemara, for which nafkemina? For a fire, the halacha is it has to get burnt. For geniza, you have to put in geniza, so that can't be a shaila. Eloli konis ben b'beisakisei yesh ben kedusha, but also to ben kedusha v'shoy. If a person's got hanging, let's say, on his neck, a kemiyah, an amulet, which has got a posuk in the Torah, is he allowed to go into the bathroom or not with it? This is not a Shabbos shaila. It's a shaila for every day of the week. If a person's got an amulet, is he allowed to walk? Some people, for example, they believe it's a skula to walk around with Vizir HaMalach, a small Vizir HaMalach. I remember once somebody stopped me, so actually I know very well. He said, I want to tell you, I've seen this. He gave me a Vizir HaMalach. And I carried the pocket tacker for a few months. Eventually, I stopped. But the problem is, you have to remember that if you're carrying Vizir HaMalach in your pocket, you cannot walk into a bathroom unless it's actually covered with another pocket, etc. But the point is, this is a shaila in a weekday. Can you walk into a bathroom with a kamir or not? Tell Shema, the more brings a raya from the Bryce we mentioned earlier. On Shabbos, you're not allowed to walk with an amulet, which is not verified. If it comes from a mumcha, somebody who's successful, who knows how to do it, nothing. You're allowed to, as we said before, walk on Shabbos with a kamir, as long as the kamir comes from a respectable, established person. Just like we said about guarding tefillin, if you remember. If a kamir has kedusha, so a person we said now is allowed to walk on Shabbos with a kamir, right? Now what's going to happen is he's going to go into the bathroom, and what will he have to do? Take it off. And if he's going to have to take it off, there's a good chance he won't put it back on. And therefore he'll come to carry it for Rosh Hashanah. Is a raya that what? That kamirs do not have kedusha, and therefore he will not take it off when he goes into the bathroom, and he'll carry on, and therefore there's no problem that he might come to carry it. Is a raya, says the Gemara, that kamirs do not have kedusha, because if they had kedusha, you couldn't possibly take it to the bathroom. Answers the Gemara, we're talking about a kamir made out of herbs, not made out of sukkah. I don't understand this answer so well, because the Gemara straight away asks, Tanya, the Brisa itself, if you remember, said, Echad kamir sheksav, Echad kamir shelikri, and the Brisa itself said, I'm talking about whether an amulet made out of writing or an amulet made out of herbs. Either way, it's considered a proper kamir. So why in the world is it permitted? If it's got kedusha, you'll go into a bathroom and you'll end up taking it off. We're talking about something that there's no choice. It's a matter of life and death that he has to take the kamir. The Gemara, how can you say that? So what's going on? Let's go very slowly. We asked the Shaila, does a kamir have kedusha? We said, what's the nafkamina? For fire, can't save it. For geniza, you have to think geniza. Says more nafkamina if you're allowed to go into a bath. Says, well, I've got good proof. Because you're allowed to walk around with a kamir if it's established one. Now, if you have to take it off for the bathroom, you're going to end up carrying it for hours. Says, well, maybe we're talking about a herb one. Says, well, that's not true. The Bible says specifically writing and herbs. Or maybe we're talking about somebody who's in danger for life or death. Says, well, that's also not true. Because we said clearly we're talking about something where there is dangerous or not dangerous. Elamai, it's clearly that it says you're allowed to walk around with that amulet, even if there's a chashash you might come to carry to Shusarabim. So even, I will not chashash you'll come to carry to Shusarabim. Why? Because you obviously don't need to take it off the bathroom. Elo, says the Gemara, Kiva Demasi, since it makes the person better, Afghan Lokde B'Yedei Nami Shapedom. Meaning, the Gemara at this stage understands that since the amulet makes a person better, it makes no difference whether he's wearing it or carrying it, because in the end of the day, it's making him better. And therefore, it's considered an article of clothing even while he carries it with his hand. And therefore, even if he takes it off to go into the bathroom, and then he starts walking around with it instead of hanging it around his neck or hanging it on his clothes, it's still not a problem of carrying. Why is it not a problem of carrying? Because since it makes him better, it is permitted. It's no different, for example, an old man with a walking stick. He's allowed to walk with his walking stick. Why? Because that's what he needs. This person needs this amulet. So there's no problem of carrying. It says, well, top of Samach Beis Amud Aleph. But Tanya, we learned in the Brisa, it says clearly that you're not allowed to walk with it for hours, so it's forbidden. We're talking about an amulet covered in leather. And since it's covered in leather, so there's no problem that he might come, that there's no problem that he'll have to take it off for the bathroom. So the original shaila was, does the kamir have kedusha? We tried to bring a proof from the Brisa that says that you're allowed to carry it on Shabbos. Obviously, you don't need to take it off for the bathroom, because if you have to take it off for the bathroom, of course, you might come to carry it. Says, well, no, we're talking about an amulet that you may very well take it to the bathroom. Why? Because it's covered in leather. Since it's covered in leather, it's like a pocket within a pocket. And as I said before, if you're carrying a minchanav or something like that, and it's covered within two covers, that's okay. Betanya nichnas besakisi. Oh, fade more, no, fade more kasha. Vari tefillin, you've got the parchment and it's covered completely in a box of leather. Betanya nichnas besakisi. Choylet tefillin berochika abamas v'nichnas. You have to cut your tefillin 4 amas away. So why did you just say that the tefillin, there's no problem? Why did you say there's no problem if it's covered in leather? Tefillin, even when they're covered in leather, is no good. The box itself has got kedusha. Why? Because the box itself has the letter shin on side it, which is the letter of the name of Hashem, Shakai, Shin, then Dalet, then Yod. Doma Abai Shin Shot Tefillin Aloch Mishmir Sinai. Doma Abai Dalet Tefillin Aloch Mishmir Sinai. Doma Abai Yud Shot Tefillin Aloch Mishmir Sinai. There's Aloch Mishmir Sinai regarding these tefillin, and therefore you can't take them into the bathroom. And here it shows you the shin, the dalet, and the yod. Some people, the shin is very easy to see. It's in everybody's box. There's the shin. The dalet is slightly harder. It's in the knot of the shalvosh. And the yod is even harder to see. If you look very, very carefully, the yod is outside the tefillin shel yad. It's tied up there. A little knot, the last knot, it's like a whole complicated knot. There's a little knot which looks like a yud. The shin dalet, Yossi, you don't have a good picture of this either. Maybe we should put a picture of tefillin on. No. So the halacha is that those are the name of Hashem, and therefore you can't go into the bathroom. So Maisa, the Gemara does not pre-shut whether Kmiyan have kedusha or not. The Mishnah says, "V'le b'shir and v'le b'kas l'magafayim." I think what explains Shiur zarda. That's armor. That's a cover of metal. Kastam Arav Sanvoso is like a kind of helmet. Nagafayim Omarav Pazmaki, which is a kind of socks. And this is the 3 pictures we saw it before. We'll see very briefly here again. Is you've got the nail armor, which is forbidden, the helmet, which is forbidden, and the socks, which is forbidden. And Rashi elsewhere, not here, strangely enough, Rashi doesn't say anything here. What's wrong with all these things? They're clothes. What's wrong? The answer is people see you wearing them on Shabbos will think to themselves, you're going to war. And going to war is forbidden on Shabbos. So therefore you don't wear weapons on Shabbos. Says the Mishnah, a woman must not go out with a needle which has a hole. A needle that has a hole inside it is used for sewing. And it's not an ornament. Rather, it is a keli. It's a vessel. And therefore carrying it is not osam midrabanan, it's osam minatir. Till now, from the beginning of the perg to this Mishnah, we've almost exclusively been talking about things which are forbidden midrabanan, things which are ornaments. You might come to show it to your friend, things you might come to carry for amas. Now we're talking about deraisas, carrying things which have got tangible value, which are osam minatir. So for a woman to go out with a needle, which has got a hole inside it, and can be used for sewing, that's like proper carrying. And not with a ring that has a seal on it. The more discusses exactly what is a kulyo and what is a keveles, and we'll leave it till the Gemara when the Gemara decides what it is. We'll get to it. And not with a bottle of perfume. Some women would hang a bottle of perfume around the neck, and that is forbidden on Shabbos. If you look over here it's a woman wearing a bottle of perfume around the neck, and that is forbidden because that's considered carrying. If she does chayeves chatos, she's chayev chatos because she's carrying. They say it's not chayev chatos because they hold that bottle of perfume around the neck and kiveles, they are adornments, they're jewelry. Since they're jewelry, it's not osam natur, it's only osam d'rabbanan. Again, certain things the chachamim agree to Rameh because it's considered a burden. A burden is osam natur. Certain things they argue about. One of the things they argue about is a bottle of perfume. But according to Rameh, it's considered carrying, and it's osam natur. According to chachamim, it's only like an ornament. It's only osam d'rabbanan. She might come take it off and show it off to her friends. The opposite halacha is by a man. Here is a very, very short thesis, but it's got a tremendous background to it. I'd like to see. I know I don't normally go to look into it. If you look, it's the second to bottom thesis. We're talking about chatos. I explain And if you chap it, it's geschmacked into chap. It's actually brought down the Shulchan Aruch, this whole cheshbon which I'm saying now. In our Mishnah previously, we had learned two separate halachas regarding carrying. One, for a woman to carry jewelry, it is forbidden midrabanan, she may come to carry it. What is jewelry? A needle which has no hole inside it, what we call a pin, that's jewelry. So that's also midrabanan. We also learned that for a woman to carry a needle which has a hole inside it, that is also min haTorah, because that's not an ornament, that's a proper keli, and it's also min haTorah. And if she does it, she's chayav chatos. Says the Gemara, by a man, it's the other way around. Says Rashi, what does that mean? That by a man, if he carries a needle with a hole inside it, so then what was for a woman a burden, for man is jewelry. For a man to walk around with a needle with a hole inside it, that makes him look good. It looks like he's going off to work. It looks like he's going to be a tailor. So that's jewelry, and it's awesome midrabanan. But for a man to walk around with a needle which has no hole inside it, so it's neither ornament, it's not an ornament, it is considered a burden, and therefore it's chayav chatos. So whatever for a woman is d'Rabbanan, for man is d'Oraisa. Whatever for a woman is d'Oraisa, for man is d'Rabbanan. That's how Rashi explains this Gemara. Chilufei beish, other way around by man. Tosfos in these few words argues with Rashi. And he says, when the Gemara says the opposite way around is by a man, says Tosfos, we're only discussing chatos, meaning I'm only talking about d'Oraisas. That which for a woman is awesome in haTorah, for man is not. And that which is also for the haTorah from a man is permitted for a woman. But d'Rabbanans we're not talking about, meaning that which is an ornament for a woman, which is awesome d'Rabbanan for a woman, we do not say the chilufei and beish, only regarding d'Oraisas. Why? Why does Tosfos say that? Why did he argue with Rashi? The answer is because Tosfos held a man doesn't show off his jewelry. Since he doesn't show off his jewelry, so you cannot forbid him to carry jewelry midrabanan. Maybe he'll come to take it off and show it off to his friends, because the person doesn't do that. So when is then, it's only when it's a real burden and it's awesome in haTorah. But if it's only for jewelry, then it's only awesome midrabanan. That's how Tosfos understands.
Rashi say that it is that you cannot.
Yeah, Rashi holds it's awesome. Rashi holds for a man to wear jewelry.
Why does Rashi hold that the man might take off his jewelry?
Because Rashi holds that men also want their friends to admire the jewelry and might take it off and therefore come to carry it. It says, so we see from him that which women wear, men don't, and that which men wear, women don't. And therefore, if a man wears what a woman wears, or vice versa, it's not normal. And since it's not normal, it's not considered a clothes. Shepherds would go out with very, very thick coats, sackcloth. Why would they go with very thick coats? Because they'll spend all day in the country looking after sheep. And if you spend all day in the country, it might rain, it might get cold, it might get hot. So you have to have thick kinds of covers. So for a shepherd to go out on Shabbos wearing this very, very thick sackcloth, is it carrying? No. Why is it not carrying? Because for him, that's a normal item of clothing. They didn't say only for shepherds. Everybody. But it's normal for shepherds to go out with such sackcloth. That since for shepherds it is normal to wear these thick sackcloths, therefore for them it is an item of clothing. Once it's an item of clothing for shepherds, therefore it's an item of clothing for everyone. And therefore if I, who am not a shepherd, was to go out on Shabbos wearing a sackcloth, I would be not over an Issa Deraisa of carrying, because I'm wearing something which another kind of person would wear. So the Gemara asks a very kasha. Why did Rabbi Yosef say that whatever a woman wears, a man doesn't, and vice versa? We see not like that. A shepherd wears a thick sackcloth, and for him it's considered clothing, and now for all people it's considered a clothing. So just like it's considered a clothing for a shepherd and for everyone, so too it should be considered a clothing for a woman and for men. Here we have one of these statements which those who do not like Gemara, those who want to bash Charedim, can use this Gemara to add to their list. women are a separate nation. They do not compare to men at all. I don't know if any of you read the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I don't know if you've read it or heard of it by John Gray, whatever. But this book is this from this Gemara. As the Gemara says, if a shepherd wears a sackcloth, okay, I can understand it. Why? That if for him it's a clothing, so for every man it's a clothing, even for a banker and for a prime minister. After all men are equal to a certain extent. And if for one person it's a clothing for everybody. Masha'inkin, if a woman wears something, since women are completely separate nation, so just because it's a clothing for a woman does not make it a clothing for a man. And therefore, it's not clothing for men. If a woman wears something, it's not clothing for a man. If a person finds tefillin in Rosh Hashanah and he's scared they'll get stolen by a goy or walked upon, so what should he do? He put the tefillin on, go home, take the tefillin off, go back to the street, put on the tefillin, put the next one in. You can bring the tefillin in by wearing them. Oh, even the woman's allowed to. So let's imagine a woman goes along the M62, we said it's Rosh Hashanah, and she sees a pair of tefillin. She puts them on, makes sure that she doesn't meet any kanoim on the way, any zealous charedim, and goes on and brings the tefillin back home. So now, if you say women are a separate nation, there's no comparison to men, but mitzvah says man gromu. Since women are part from tefillin, and we just said women and men don't compare, so how can she wear it? It's a clothing for a man, not for a woman. Answers the Gemara, the Shabbos van tefillinu. How the mitzvah says shelo yazman groma, the mitzvah says shelo yazman groma noshim chayom. The Gemara says that this heter for a woman to wear tefillin to protect them, to bring them home, is according to the man Doma who holds that tefillin is allowed to be worn at night and allowed to be worn on Shabbos. So therefore, tefillin is not a mitzvah seishes man goma. Tefillin is a mitzvah which applies always, and since it applies always, women are allowed to wear tefillin and are obligated to wear tefillin, and therefore it's considered their clothes as well. As a summary.
What's the question, though, really?
Oh, I explained.
She's not doing it because as a mitzvah anyway. She's doing it because.
I explained it. Exactly. The Mishnah tells us what women wear and what the chiyuvim are. Came along Ola and said that for man it's the opposite way around. The Gemara understands. The Gemara asks, why is that? By a shepherd, if a shepherd wears let's say shepherds wear a particular style coat, and I'm not a shepherd. The halacha is I'm allowed to wear it on Shabbos. Why? Oh, I'm not a shepherd. The answer is once it's established as an item of clothing for one kind of people, it's established for all people. So let's say, for example, Hasidim wear shtreimel, and I want to wear shtreimel on Shabbos. Am I allowed to? The answer is yes, because after all, Hasidim do. So if I want, I'm also allowed to. That's what the Gemara says. If that's the case, since women wear rings, why can't a man wear a ring? Answers the Gemara. What's the answer? No. Women or men, you can't compare. You can compare Hasidim to literatures. You can compare farmers, shepherds to other people. You can't compare women to men. And just because a woman wears it, a man, or vice versa, if a man wears it, a woman, you can't compare. It's two separate. It's like saying if a cow wears something, a human being. No, it's no comparison. Fact. Says the Gemara, if that's the case, if you hold that tefillin is exclusively for men, which is how we hold Lamaisa. So tefillin is a male item of clothing. So if a woman wants to wear it, is she wearing clothes? The answer is no, because we just said men and women are not comparable. If they're not comparable, how can a woman wear tefillin and bring them home on Shabbos? She's carrying. Answers the Gemara, no. This is going according to the opinion that women are also mechuyev in tefillin. But if women are not mechuyev in tefillin, the fact that a man, that means if you go out in the street and you see somebody wearing a record, or you see somebody wearing, a different kind of felt boots, as long as there are some kinds of men that wear it, you can also wear it on Shabbos. It's also an item of clothing. If you go out in the street and you see women wearing a certain kind of clothing, let's say a kind of hat, which men never wear, you can't wear it. Because if men do it, it doesn't matter if it's only a small percentage of men. It's an item of clothing. If women do it, it's incomparable. And the same thing vice versa. If let's say a woman would go out with a shtreimel on Shabbos, mutter or asa, the answer is asa. Or the many men that wear shtreimel, doesn't help. At the end of the day, men and women are separate. We're finished with this. Now the Gemara asks a slightly different kind of question. So the Gemara says, wearing a ring is not a normal thing to do. Since it's not normal for a man to wear rings, so if it's a sok lachayat, both way around, Moses asking, women and men. So Moses says for a woman to wear a ring with a seal is not normal. We're talking about a woman who works as administrator, so for her it's normal. What about a man without a seal? It's not normal. Sometimes you say to your wife, here's a ring with a seal. Can you take it to the bank to put it to the deposit box, in the safety box? And when she's taking it to the bank to put it in the safety box, it's a long walk. So what does she do? Because it's very heavy to carry the ring, it's got a seal on. So she puts it on her finger until she gets all the way to the bank to put it to the safety box. So therefore it is normal for a woman to wear it sometimes. Sometimes a woman will say to you, look, my ring is broken. It's too narrow, it's too wide. Can you please take it to somebody to have it fixed? So you take your wife's ring to have it fixed. But what are you going to do while you're walking to have it fixed? It's a long walk. So you put it on your finger until it comes to the Ummah. So we see over here that it's not considered it's so an abnormal way of carrying, because at the end of the day, it is sometimes worn like that. I just say one point. There's a very big shaila about loisilbash for a man to wear woman's clothes and woman to wear man's clothing. And the problem over here is, if your wife was to say to you, I've got my engagement ring, something wrong with it. I don't know, it's too small, too wide. Can you take it to the jeweler to have it fixed? Are you allowed to put it on your finger to take it to the jeweler, yes or no? What would you say? She says to my shoes, she's got high-heeled shoes, right?
Men wear rings. There's plenty of men that wear rings.
Engagement ring, I haven't seen so many. One with a diamond? Okay, different case. Your wife's got high-heeled shoes. She says to you, take it to the, what's the shoemaker called? Shoemaker, whatever.
Cobbler.
Sandler, what?
Cobbler.
Cobbler, very good, thank you, cobbler. Are you allowed to wear the high-heeled shoes on the way? The Gemara says yes. Oh, what about Luis Silbash? There's a bach that says that Luis Silbash is only forbidden. Many people argue with him. I'm not saying Shulan is halacha, but some people bring this Gemara as a proof. The bach has got a shitta. The whole issue of Luis Silbash is only when you're trying to confuse people if you're a man or woman. If you're a man and you're freezing cold and you put on your wife's coat, pink coat, and nobody in the world thinks that you're a woman, according to the Bach, there's no Issa. And some people in your wife in this Gemara, I hear the Gemara says, you got to ask, according to Zomach, what's the heter over here? But it's just food for thought regarding the Issa of the Silbash. Is it only if you're trying to confuse people whether you're male or female? Rashi al says the reason people used to wear the other way around clothes is because that way they could mingle with opposite gender, and it was done for znus. If you're wearing a pink scarf and you're walking just because you have to be cold, it's the only thing you could grab to wear, according to Bach, that's okay. Okay. Let's go back now to the Mishnah. We're now discussing different things that women wear, which is forbidden. Says the Mishnah, "V'lo bekulya v'lo bekuveles." My kulya, Omar Rav machbanta. Machbanta is a brooch. A brooch is something which is used to close a jumper or a shirt. Here it's got a picture, not a brilliant picture. Maybe Yossi's got a better one for us. Machbanta. It's a brooch. Yeah, can you see it? Can anybody even see it? It's like a circle, and you put it through to get it close. Okay. Kiveles. What's a kiveles? Omarav chumusa de pillow. It's a knot. It's a small bundle of beautiful herbs. That is, what happened was women that had a bad smell, what they would do is they would take a small bunch of nice herbs, tie it to the string, hang it around the neck, and when they would meet somebody, instead of the man smelling a bad smell, he would get a nice smell from the herbs hanging around the neck. So therefore, that is forbidden on Shabbos. Here, let me show you a picture again. Yeah, you can see it. You can see the woman wearing a bunch of herbs on top of the picture there. Can anybody see it? You can see it. You can see it if you look very, very carefully. So that is forbidden. So now the Gemara discusses this bunch of herbs. They say to be kuveles. A woman's not allowed to go out to the kuveles. That's this bunch of herbs. What we should call it a short word, a good smelling necklace. It's not so shorter. If she does chayav chatos, Amir says that's considered carrying. She's chayav chatos. They say she's not allowed to go out. If she does patur, she's not chayav chatos. It's only osam midu abanon. So we've got three opinions. One opinion is that it is osam in haTorah. One opinion is that this perfume thing is osam midu abanon, and one opinion is that it's completely mutter. Again, is that clear? We're talking about a woman walking around with a necklace, where at the end of the necklace, a pendant, instead of having a pendant, it's got a bunch of nice smelling herbs. Machlekes, three-way machlekes. It's a burden carrying it. It's like carrying Shabbos Chaim Chatos. It's an adornment, a jewelry. She might take it off, show her friends, look at this beautiful bunch of herbs that I've got, and she'll come to carry it. It's also with Rabbanon. Whereas who's the kind of woman that carries these things around? That she has a bad breath, bad smell. A woman who's got a bad smell is not going to start advertising this. And therefore she's not going to start taking off the necklace and saying to people, look at this beautiful smell of herbs that I've got to hide my bad smell. And therefore she won't come to carry it. So we've got three-way machlekes. The Meir says it's also not it's a burden. Chum say it's a tachshit, it's an adornment, it's also the Rabbanon, she might show it off and carry it. Rabbi Lezer says no woman would ever show herself off on such a thing, and therefore it is only us, therefore it's completely mutter. Or Tanya, Rabbi Lezer puita bekevelis v'suchas shaplaito. He only says it's potter, not mutter. As we said at the beginning when we went into Shabbos, Masech Shabbos, we said there's a big difference between mutter and potter. Mutter means it is permitted. Potter means you don't have to bring a chatos, meaning that it's not awesome in haTorah, but it's still awesome in Rabbanon. So we have a contradiction between Rabbi Lezer. In one place, Rabbi Lezer says it's permitted, and in one place it just says potter, you don't have to bring a chatos. Lo kasha. When he says that, and when he's arguing with Meir, he spoke one way. When he was arguing with the Chachamim, he spoke another way. When the Meir said it, you have to bring a chatos because it's a issa deraisa or malay potter. He said, no, you're wrong. You're not chayav chatos, you're potter. It's forbidden, or your mutter lechatchila is permitted. When you're arguing with somebody, and somebody says to you, this is an adira deraisa, if you do it, you're chayav chatos, and you don't agree, what would you say? No, you're chayav chatos, it's potter. Now, you're not discussing if it's permitted or not, because you just argue with a man, Dama who said you're chayav chatos, so you say, no, you're potter from chatos. If somebody else would say to you, it's forbidden, so you say, no, it's permitted. So Rabbi Lezer actually holds it's permitted. Why is it permitted? Because nobody's going to take it off and show off. Only when the Chacham said it's forbidden, he came along and said it's permitted. But when the Meir came along and said it is chayav chatos, that you have to bring a common chatos, so he said, no, you're wrong. You don't have to bring a chatos. In fact, you're potter from a chatos. Well, to daf samach beis samud beis, top of the page. If you'll notice, the following daf is a particularly long daf. It's the right daf on the whole. Umay Ramer. What is Ramer? The Tanya. They say isha b'mafteach b'yod. A woman's not allowed to go outside with the ring. Some say even if she wears the ring, with a key, she's not allowed to go out with a key. And some say even if she puts the key as a ring on, it's still forbidden. B'myotzos chayeves chatos. To be Ramer. Rabbi Lezer puita b'kiveles v'stuchas shaplaita. He permits it with a herb, with this necklace of smells, and with a plate of perfume. But Meir never mentioned it. So why are you having a miscommunication over here? But Meir says, don't go out with a key. And he says, you're allowed to go out with perfume. You're not discussing the same thing. Answers the Gemara, they say, Meir says, you're not allowed to go out with three things. Not with a key, not with a perfume bottle, and not with a necklace for nice smells. Rabbi Lezer poita bekevelet v'suchas shaplaito. B'med v'morim sheyesh b'hem boisem. Aber ein b'hem boisem chayeves. When did Rabbi Lezer say that if a person goes outside with a bottle of perfume or with a nice smelling herb, it is potter? That's only if there's actual perfume or herbs inside it. If there's no perfume, it's forbidden. Again, But Beleza says that if a woman goes outside with a bottle of perfume on Shabbos, she's not chayv in that Torah because it's an adornment, it's jewelry. Jewelry is mutter in that Torah. Or she might take off the bottle of perfume to show it off. Why is he not choshesh for that? The answer is, who goes around with a bottle of perfume hanging around the neck? Only somebody who has a very bad smell. And we're not choshesh that a woman will want to advertise that, and therefore not choshesh will take it off. But if there's no perfume in the bottle, and let's say the perfume is completely empty, the bottle is completely empty, so then she's chayav chatos. Why is she chayav chatos? Why is she chayav chatos if the bottle of perfume is empty? Because it's neither adornment, so it's not jewelry, it's not, and therefore it's a proper burden. So she's actually carrying a chayav chatos. I just want to say the next few lines, but a short akdom, that we're going to learn much later that when a person carries on Shabbos, it's a issa d'oraisa, he has to be a chatos. But there are certain measurements when is a person chayav. If you take out a crumb of bread on Shabbos to Rosh Hashanah, you're not chayav because it's not big enough. It has to be something of value. We paskin that if you take a plate outside, then you're chayav. A plate is a substantial thing. Now let's say you take a plate and on it a very, very small piece of bread. Then a very fascinating halacha occurs, which I don't know if any of you are aware of. You're not chayav chatos. Can anybody understand the logic? If you take the plate, you're chayav chatos. But if you take a plate and on it a small piece of bread, and the small piece of bread is not significant, then you're not chayav chatos. You've not done the issa d'oraisa. Does anybody know why?
The plate is just a tool to take the bread out.
Very good.
And the bread wasn't enough.
And the bread's not enough. Very good. And the bread's not enough. So if you take a plate with a small piece of bread, you've done Issa d'Rabbanan, where you've taken less than the thing, but you've not done Issa d'Oraisa. The plate's for the bread, and the bread's not big enough. If it's an empty plate, then you'd be chayav. Now the Gemara says like this: we just said an empty bottle of perfume. What's the halacha? You're chayav because empty bottle of perfume is carrying a bottle. Bottle is a significant thing. Now everybody knows an empty bottle of perfume. Does it have any perfume inside it? The answer is, of course, it smells good. Of course, it will smell something. And if it smells good, it's worth something. So from here, it's a contradiction to what Ben just said. How can you say that if I carry a plate with a bit of bread on, I'm not chayav because the bread is bottled to the plate is bottled to the bread? Then if I carry a bottle of perfume, let me say that the bottle of perfume is bottled to the bit of perfume left in the walls, the smell, and if I should be potter. And the Gemara says, no, that's not a good comparison. And I'm sure you could probably work it out yourself. That when you're carrying a plate with a piece of bread on, you've got some substantial bread. So the plate is bottled to the bread. That empty bottle of perfume, it is true that the smell exists, but there's no tangible perfume left in the bottle. It's just chemicals or air or smell which is contained in the bottle. And you can't say I'm carrying the bottle which is empty for the perfume inside. There's hardly any perfume left. It's all disappeared. It's just the smell. So if you can't compare, if the one that having wants to compare it, the Gemara says, no, you can't compare it. That's all the Gemara says. Let's do it.
Sorry, when a bottle's got perfume in, why can a lady wear it? Because it's
jewelry, it's adornment.
So why can't we compare this to like a watch? Let's say there's no air over. Said the reason why a person wears a watch is because even if the battery's not working,
yes,
they'll still wear it. So it's not comparable to this case. When there's no perfume inside, it's will still be a piece of jewelry.
The answer is a watch usually has some beauty inside it. This perfume did not have beauty. Only when it had perfume inside it was it a. That means if it was a nice necklace with a nice pendant which had perfume, you'd be right. That would be a very good comparison. But here we're talking about a utility kind of necklace where the whole purpose is only for the perfume, and it doesn't have any perfume left inside it. You said a nice point. Somebody takes out a plate in a keli and it's got food less than a sheer chayav. It's got no perfume, it's still some perfume left. Normally you're potter. There's nothing left. It's just a tiny bit of smell, a bit of air. You can't compare a plate which has got a piece of bread on, even if it's a small piece of bread, to a bottle of perfume which is empty and it's got no mamoshas, no substance to it. When it's got no substance to it, it's the bottle of perfume is a keli which you're carrying for nothing. So therefore that's considered carrying, and therefore you're chayav. A plate you'd be potter. Okay, tomorrow we've got a very, very lot of gadita. It's a long daf, Mitzvah Shem. Oh, tomorrow's Thursday. I think it's nice if everybody can arrange to bring in a smaller chaim or something and have a few minutes at the end to... Cholent, we didn't say every week. I don't know. The way things are going, I get the feeling that we'll be doing this all the way down
every
to
week
Lidl.
is going to bring Cholent.
What?
Yehuda Steinberg said every week he will bring to everybody Cholent.
Yes, that's what he said.
Halavai.
Is that what he said? If you said that, is Yehuda on? He's not on.
He's not
We
on.
can only do challenge every week as long as we continue it after this finishes.
What, at 6:30 in the
I
morning?
tell you what, if you could bring Cholent,
No, so you'll have to come at 8 o'clock at night.
if you
You
bring
want the good
Cholent,
stuff.
that's even better. If not, at least bring a lechaim. It's good. It's a very, very valuable thing to what's the word for it? To spend to learning Torah b'chabur. It's a tremendous simcha. I thought we'd finish the perek, but I made a mistake. It's still quite a bit more left. Neil, did you say how much the volume 3 of Shabbos would be? I don't know. Okay, we'll have to speak about that.
About £35.
About £35. Okay.
If anybody wants, let me know.
Right. Let's see.
People
But
that
Nafa
have already
anyways
told
cost
me.
about 36, no?
No, it's gone up to about 42.
Really?
Yeah.
What, and is it going
Before Pesach, Hasefa was selling them for around £42 something.
Are they still going up?
He gave it to me for about 10% off, so 38. And I think my new guy that I found someone else, then were giving me for about 35, 36. But I have to check the price.
Right.
Is it still going up?
Basically.
Price always go up. That's the general.
Yeah.
How are you, Tony? How are you doing?
Baruch Hashem, not too bad for yourself.
L'chaim tomorrow, maybe? Say your challenge.
Any night you want.
Any night you want. Oh, so make sure to have a l'chaim. Shkoycha, you've got. I think it's a nice thing. It's any good news? No, nothing.
Yeah, I think they're going to be lifting things next week. And what, I don't know. Are we going to be allowed to Yomi? I don't know.
Let's see how it goes. Very good. There's interesting Gemaras, at least. There's interesting Gemaras, the logic of it all and all the different things. And we've got a very lot of Agadata tomorrow, so...
It's going to be a Shiur Friday, or are you okay?
I think this should
Fitting these, if you do a lot on a certain moment, you just remember the drilling points.
Wait a second. What daf? We're almost we're half a daf ahead. That's when we don't do Shabbos. So we're half a daf ahead. We'll see how much we do. Could you mind sending out another text, another message, and see how if more people are interested? I think it's a shame not to do Friday. If nobody wants, then we'll do Friday.
This Friday is easier. It's not. It's a bank holiday anyway.
Oh, it's bank holiday this Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not working, for example.
Oh, very good. Okay, so let's do it. Let's
So I
do
could
it.
do.
So which time, what did you say? I forgot which time you said most people wanted. 1 o'clock, they said? Or was it 2 o'clock? Tony, will you send out a message and just...
No, this week. Yeah, we can maybe do it earlier this week if it's bank holiday. Maybe 11-ish.
Okay, so 11-ish, or even 10-ish, what about 9-ish? Do you mind sending out a message that everybody doesn't mind to send you a message, and then whatever, we'll just do... yeah, is that okay with you?
Fine, I'll do it, no problem.
Very good. Okay, everybody should be in touch with...
Yeah.
I think that's stuff with everything. Very good night.
you.
Very good news. Okay, give me in touch. See you.